We have talked about it non-stop on this show. Economists are no better than casino gamblers. We just got the non-farm payroll numbers. The estimate was that we were going to get 500,000 new jobs. We got under 200,000, less than 50%. What is going on? The U.S. labor September non-farm payroll, the consensus, the entire market had agreed on the estimate of 500,000. It came in under 200,000. You literally could put a blindfold on, spin around, and throw darts and probably be more accurate than these people. That is absurd. If you went to work every day and you were off by more than 50% month after 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 month, eventually you would be fired. It is unacceptable that we have economic estimates that are this far off. If you say, hey, every once in a while we're off by 10%, I get it. It's a complex economic system. There's tons of variables. There's tons of inputs that drive these numbers. But to miss this bad and have us talk about it month after month after month is a joke. We should either stop estimating or we should start to see what the repercussions are, because there are financial decisions being made on the estimates. Some people are buying assets, some of them are selling assets, some of them are waiting for the numbers and trading. And the people who end up being the least effective trading around these numbers are those that are the least sophisticated, the retail traders. So if we are going to have estimates and they continue to be this far off, you at home have to realize it's never going to change. They're going to continue to estimate inaccurately. I wish that there was a way to bet on whether they had an accurate estimate or not. If there was a way to bet on every non-farm payroll day or the release of the numbers, and I could simply say, I think they got it right, or I think they didn't, I don't even need to know the numbers. I'm betting they didn't get it right. And I'd be a very, very, very rich person, because you could literally bet the house every time. That's how absurd their inaccuracy is. But we continue to play this charade. Nobody's calling out the nonsense. Nobody says, wait, why are they off by more than 50%? How is that possible? Well, it's because when you look at bad data and you have astrology-like models that literally just make things up, you just come up with made-up numbers like 500,000. And then real number comes in at 194K. If you were taking a test in school and you were off by that much, you would get an F, fail. They would literally say, if you get this score on every test, you don't get credit for the class. You failed. It's an F. And so at some point, we have to ask ourselves, how much of monetary and fiscal policy is being driven by the data and the analysis of the same exact people that are this inaccurate? If we have bad data, there's no way we can make good decisions. You need good data to make good decisions. But what we've seen time and time again is just a whiff. This is pathetic, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're way off. But I think the other thing to note is that we're way down from last month, right? So growth is supposed to be accelerating at this point, job growth, as we get out of the pandemic and as we return to normal and do all these things. It's slowing down, it's stalling, right? And you have some economists online and on Twitter saying, oh, it's seasonal. Now they're calling it seasonal. They're saying the government employees, their jobs are seasonal and we shouldn't have added as many because of that. Stop with the transitory, the seasonal, stop with the words to cover up that you're wrong, right? So they've been wrong about these estimates time and time again. Last month, I think, we were at 366K jobs added last month after revisions. This month we're at 194 on an estimate of 500. So we've stalled dramatically. And if you look at kind of the whole of where we're supposed to be on an expected job basis based on kind of just current growth trends, we're still about 9 million jobs in the hole. And that, if you look on it kind of compared to the rest of history, that's about where we were at the bottom pit of the '08 recession. Right? So like it's really, really, really bad and it's not getting any better. We're not going to get anywhere near close to that 9 million jobs number anytime soon based on the growth already stalling kind of when we're supposed to be exiting the pandemic.
On top of that, there's 11 million open jobs in the economy. world record number of open roles. It's not a demand it's not a supply problem. There's literally 11 million open jobs at the moment. It just exploded. Look at the growth of open roles right after the pandemic. And now all of a sudden we're saying, oh, but we can't get people to go back to work. If there's this many open roles and there's only 194,000 people going back to work and we're seeing a slowdown, there's no tapering coming. There's no sort of slowdown in the economic stimulus. The only thing that central banks can do is they can manipulate the interest rates or they can provide more liquidity to the market through things like quantitative easing. And if you have the economic slowdown from a job growth standpoint, and you have this many open roles, you still have over 5% unemployment, and you have CPI at over 5% and core inflation over 4%, this is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster that we have on our hands. On top of that, more people have died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. So not only are we not addressing the public health crisis, but also we're not addressing the economic crisis either. So what is going on? And I don't see anyone coming out and saying, here's the plan. Here's how we're going to address the issues. Here is the light at the end of the tunnel. Instead, what you're seeing is more and more and more people are actually losing hope. And ultimately, that's the problem, is when people lose hope, they give up on searching for a job. They actually just relegate themselves to a life of just despair and dire financial situation. That's not the way it should be. We live in the most prosperous, most democratic, most capitalistic society in the world. We should not have these problems. You should not go talk to business owners and say, how is it? And then say, I literally can't get people to come work at my business. And then go talk to other people and they say, we have the high unemployment rate of over 5% right now. What's going on? I don't think that anyone has the answers, but what I do know is that we can't continue to have interventions in the market, because the more that you take away those free market forces, you get nonsense like this. This is a manipulated economy. It's a manipulated asset prices. It's manipulated monetary and fiscal policy. And so what do? We get an economy that makes zero sense.